We were able to have Joseph Matunjwa, as well as the National Union of Mine Workers President Xolani Gwala in the studio, the two of them. Just to talk about that morning, it was actually very tense. It was very, very tense. And the two of them in the studio, I'm just trying to remember, it was extremely tense. Joseph had a couple of guys with him, and as I remember, Xolani was alone, and they wouldn't even talk. That's just how tense it was. And this was before the program itself. And during the program, literally, I had on a number of occasions to stand up from where I was broadcasting from to come and separate the two of them. That's just how tense it was in the studio. What had happened outside, or what was happening at the copy, was playing itself out in the studio. That's just how it was. Actually, I've never done any program like that where you have to physically separate the people in the studio.
The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
That is what is at the heart of this violence. That it's actually the issue between NUM and AMCU here.
On Friday was evident when the workers demanded what they want from the employer, and the NUM intervened by shooting at those workers randomly, so because already it must be reminded that the very same management has served the UNUM.
Fine. Let's give Mr. Xolani a chance.
Thanks, Colin. You know, it doesn't matter how many times a lie is repeated. It can never change with the truth. For one, it is clear that only AMCU was aware of the planned march 2 weeks ago. The president of AMCU have said to the public.
Not that we were aware of the plan of the march. We were aware of the demands alerted by the management.
All right, fine. We'll get to that. Because
I want to say again, AMCU was aware of the planned march.
Not of the planned march.
They were aware of the planned demands. And let me say that as NUM, we don't want any picture given that NUM is fighting with AMCU. We're not thugs.
In hindsight, we almost found the solution. It almost worked. Because then the point was, forget about who should take responsibility for the 10 people that had been killed at a time. But how do we make sure that those who are still out there and quite keen to fight, I mean, you could see that people were ready, blood, there was just so much tension. So the point was, how do we then make sure that they come down? So we're discussing that, back and forth. Ultimately, the suggestion was, all 3 of them, after the show, must go to Rustenburg, must go to Marikana, address workers together. And I still maintain that if they had done that, we wouldn't have seen 34 people dying. I promise you, if they had done that. It was a violent situation, but nobody could have anticipated 34 people being mowed down that afternoon. Nobody. I didn't. I don't think they thought that it could have been that worse. But we knew that it was tense. It was terrible. We knew that 10 people had already been killed. And we knew that we needed to find a way of dealing with that. So it's 2:19, 16th of August, 2:19 p.m. I think the massacre was about 3:30 or thereabout, just before 4. Yeah. So it's 2:20. He says, since no person was available to give feedback to the workers, we are going back to employees to inform them. No one is available. We have tried our best without cooperation from anyone. Let peace prevail.
Asifuni gaza ezophalala kodwa sifuna izinkinga zenu nemivuzo yenu mayitholakale comrade.